of a different video is going to be talking about my opinions, but not just any opinions. Opinions on my favorite Pokemon and my least favorite Pokemon. So of each type specifically. I know other people have done this in the past. There's M&JTV, he recently did one. I'm going to be talking about my favorite and least favorite, and then talking about some honorable mentions. So let's get started. Starting off with Bug. Bug is my favorite type, and my favorite bug type is Mega Beedrill. And if Mega Beedrill doesn't count, then it's going to be Gliscopod. Both of these Pokemon are really, really cool. Beedrill, Mega Beedrill, big upgrade from a previously terrible Pokemon. Gliscopod, just this absolute behemoth of a monster that can easily tear you to shreds. My least favorite bug type is Wormadam. I don't like Wormadam that much. Gonna be honest, I like most bug types, but not Wormadam. The Trash Cloaks are alright, I guess, but Wormadam in general is just meh. It's meh at best. For honorable mentions, there's going to be Scizor, Vikavolt, Yanmega, and Lokix. Scizor, Vikavolt, and Lokix are all really, really cool, and Yanmega is really, really cool, but it should be a Dragon type. Moving on to Dark, my favorite Dark type Pokemon is Darkrai. I love everything about Darkrai. The design, how cool it is. I don't like the legs. I don't think anyone likes the legs. The lore behind it, it just wants to keep to itself. It can't control its powers. It's just very, very cool. My least favorite Dark type is... When I was looking through the list of Dark types, I couldn't really find any. Hi, Judge. I couldn't really find any that I just... As I was saying, when I was looking through the list of Dark types, I couldn't find any that I really disliked. So I'm just gonna go with the one I like the least, and that's Sableye. I feel nothing towards Sableye. It's annoying at best. For the honorable mentions, there's Wo-Chien, Obstagoon, Galarian Moltres, Alolan Muck, and Crocodile. Obstagoon, Galarian Moltres, Alolan Muck, and Crocodile are all insanely cool. And Wo-Chien is Wo-Chien. George, can you stop headbutting things for the love of God? Next is Dragon type. My favorite Dragon type is Ultra Necrozma, and if I can't have Ultra Necrozma, then it's Giratina. Ultra Necrozma is my favorite legendary. Necrozma in general is my favorite legendary. And if I can't have Ultra Necrozma because it's a form, then it's Giratina. They're both badass. My least favorite Dragon type is going to be Jangmo-o. Again, not many that I dislike, but Jangmo-o is just... It just looks kind of weird. I can see the appeal behind it, but to me it's just kind of weird. For the honorable mentions, there's Rayquaza, Hydreigon, Flygon, Walking Wake, and Druddigon. Legendaries, pseudo-legendaries, a Pokemon that should be a pseudo-legendary, and Druddigon. I have a fondness for Druddigon because I used it in my Isle of Armor playthrough, and it was pretty fun. I've gotta say, it was pretty fun. Next up is going to be the Electric type. My favorite Electric type is Magnezone. I've always loved Magnezone. I love the UFO design behind it. I love how strong it is in every playthrough that it's available in. I loved using it in Omega Ruby, Black and White 2. What else was there? Omega Ruby, Black and White 2. I loved using it in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Basically anywhere it's been available. George, don't stand on my keyboard. My least favorite Electric type is Alolan Graveler. It's just ugly. I don't like it. I just feel nothing towards it. Alolan Golem is a lot better. With my honorable mentions, there's Heliolisk, Hisuian Voltorb, and Ampharos. Hisuian Voltorb is he's just a cute little lad. Just a cute little lad. I'll have him as a family pet. Ampharos, I loved using in my first ever playthrough of Heart Gold. And Heliolisk I used in my first playthrough of X and Y and loved it. Next is the Fairy type. Fairy type, there aren't many fairy types I do like. It's just kind of a weak type for me. Like in terms of the Pokemon in it, Fairy type's obviously a really good type in competitive. But in terms of the Pokemon in it, there's not many I like. My favorite Fairy type is Tinkaton. I loved Tinkaton ever since I saw it in the first leaks. When I saw it in the first leaks, I just knew I needed it in my playthrough. But its stats are so weird. It has a massive hammer. It strikes down Corviknights. Why does it have a lower attack stat than Bonsly? My least favorite fairy type is Mr. Mime. It's self-explanatory. It's self-explanatory. No one likes Mr. Mime. My honorable mentions for the fairy type are Tapu Koko, Gardevoir, and Fluttermane. For the fire type, my favorite fire type is Chandelure. There are a lot of really cool fire types, and Chandelure, probably the top of them. In competitive, at least in singles, it's always been pretty good. It's got really good stats, really cool concept. Overall, just a really cool Pokemon. My least favorite fairy type, a fairy type fire type, is Simisear. Does anybody like Simisear? Can anybody truly say that their favorite Pokemon, not even favorite Pokemon, favorite fire type? Can anybody tell me that their favorite fire type is Simisear? You can name any Pokemon, and almost any Pokemon, and I would believe you. You tell me your favorite Pokemon Simisear, you're lying. For the honorable mentions for the fire type, there is Camerupt, Centiskorch, Fuecoco, and Alolan Marowak. Alolan Marowak and Centiskorch are really, really cool. Alolan Marowak, one of the best regional forms. Fuecoco, one of the cutest starters going, and Camerupt, I don't know why I like Camerupt so much. George! Next up is going to be the fighting type. My favorite fighting type is Phalanx. I don't know. Honestly, I can't tell why I like Phalanx so much. I just do. George, will you calm down for the love of God? No, you're going on the floor. I can't tell why I like Phalanx so much. It's just one of those Pokemon where it's just got like a really good appeal to it. It's just, they're cute little boys. They're cute little battle Kirby's. How can you not like that? My least favorite fighting type is Combuskin. Looks like a penis. It just looks like a penis. The honorable mentions for the fighting type are Heracross, Conkeldurr, Buzzwole, Slitherwing, and Grapploct. Next up is the flying type. Now, I don't rate the flying type very highly. It's got some cool Pokemon, but it's a secondary type. It's a secondary type. We have like 3 pure flying type Pokemon, and that's it. My favorite flying type is Minior. He's just a cute little boy. Except he gets a shell smash off, and this cute little boy can throw hands. And if the leaks are true, and Minior is coming back in the DLC, I'm going to be so happy. I will use that thing, and nobody can stop me. My least favorite flying type is Vullaby. It's just kind of ugly. It's gotta be said. I don't like it that much. There's zero appeal behind it. For the honorable mentions for the flying type, there's Gyarados, Noivern, Corviknight, Rowlet, and Toucannon. A lot of these are self-explanatory, really cool or cute flying types, and I've used Toucannon quite a few times. It's been really, really fun to use, especially with, like, let's say Skill Link, or like the hefty beak blasts. It's definitely one of the most underrated regional birds. Next up is going to be the ghost type, and my favorite ghost type is Basculegion. It's the big fish. Who can hate the big fish? The big fish is awesome. When it was revealed in the first Legends Arceus trailers, I immediately loved it. And knew that I was going to use it. Hisui and Basculin, kinda gonna be honest. But Basculegion is really, really cool. Now, my least favorite ghost type, there's not, again, it's like a dark type situation. There's not many ghost types that I hate. So I'm just gonna have to go with my least favorite ghost type, which is maybe Drifblim? I don't know. There's not really a ghost type I don't like. I like Drifblim. It was tough. The honorable mentions, there's Gengar, Frostlass, Golurk, and Delmise. Next up is the grass type. You know you're growing up when your starter choices slowly start to move over to that green. And speaking of starters, my favorite grass type is Serperior. Serperior was it's it was my favorite Pokemon until we get to the Psychic type bit, but when it was but it's up there. It's up there with my favorite Pokemon because it was my first starter choice. Everyone has that attachment to their first starter, and for me, it's Serperior. Serperior is really, really cool. My least favorite grass type is Quilladin. Just look at him. It's self-explanatory. You're the reason Chestnut is so overshadowed. For the honorable mentions, there's Tropius, Trevenant, Alolan Exeggutor, Decidueye, and Chestnut. Chestnut is one of the most underrated starters. It's one of the most underrated and the most overhated. I can tell why Quilladin scared everyone off, but give Chestnut a chance. It's really fun. Next up is the ground type. And my favorite ground type is everyone's favorite Pokemon that they've never had the chance to use in a playthrough, Gliscor. Now, Gliscor is really cool. It's the majority favorite ground type for a reason. It's got the cool fangs, the cool, like, prankster personality. It's got the cool night wings. It's really cool. My least favorite ground type is, this one was difficult. This one was pretty difficult, but it's probably going to be Alolan Diglett over there. That trim is dead. For the honorable mentions, there's Mamoswine, Clodsire, Palossand, Runerigus, and Torterra. Next up is the Ice type. The Ice type, it's got some bangers, gotta be said. But with that being said, my favorite Ice type is Alolan Sandslash. Alolan Sandslash, it's cute, it's cool, it's got the Sonic the Hedgehog vibe. It's just, who can hate it? Look at it. Look at this specimen. Look at this specimen right here. Look at this specimen. Who can hate that? Who won't find this cool? My least favorite ice type is Jinx. It's not a very popular Pokemon for a reason. It's just kind of disturbing. It's kind of disturbing, it's gotta be said. The honorable mentions, there's Spheal, Alolan Ninetales, and Frosmoth. Next is the normal type. Probably the most bang-on average type out of all of them, but my favorite normal type is Ferret. I used it in my first playthrough of Heart Gold, loved it. It's so cute. I love that stream where it was constantly walking until the games we don't talk about came out. But like, Ferret, it's just really cute, and I wanted to get the Obstagoon treatment where it gets an evolution. My least favorite normal type is Miltank. Again, just like Jinx, it's self-explanatory. For the honorable mentions, there's Dodrio, Porygon Z, Snorlax, and Dudunsparce. Dudunsparce is so incredibly funny to me because people were waiting for decades for Dunsparce to get an evolution, and they just made a bigger Dunsparce. Next is Poison, and my favorite Poison type is Scolipede. I used to rate the Poison type pretty low until I realized just what was in the Poison type, and it's pretty good type, I've gotta say. My least favorite Poison type is probably Stunky. I feel nothing towards it. I feel nothing towards Stunky whatsoever. It's just kind of there. It's kind of the Pokemon you have to deal with in like every Gen 4 playthrough that you can just kind of do nothing about. For the honorable mentions, there's Drapion, Crobat, Nidoking, and Naganadel. My favorite Psychic type, and my favorite Pokemon of all time, is Farigiraf. I love this boy. I love this boy. I love this boy so damn much, and I don't know why. I can't tell you why I love Farigiraf so much. My love for the whole Girafarig line started when I did my playthrough of Heart Gold, and I used a Girafarig. His name was Harvey, and he carried that playthrough. And since then, I've loved Girafarig, and I was ecstatic. I was ecstatic when I saw that Farigiraf was going to be a thing, and I have swore to make that thing my signature in VGC, and it will happen. It's going to happen. The first event I go to, I'm bringing Farigiraf, and nobody can stop me. My least favorite Psychic type is Galarian Mr. Mime. You thought you were seeing Mr. Mime only once? No, he's a second one, except he looks even weirder. For the honorable mentions for the Psychic type, there's Girafarig, Reuniclus, Slowbro, and Gallade. My favorite rock type is Tyranitar. He's so cool. It's the Godzilla one. Hey, look, it's the Godzilla one. It's the Godzilla one that that's one of 2 pseudo-legendaries that isn't a dragon type. You're also my favorite pseudo-legendary, by the way, props to you. My least favorite rock type is Probopass. Yeah, something about Probopass has always just thrown me off. I can't tell you what it is, but it just does, and I don't know why. Probably the big-ass nose. For the honorable mentions for the rock type, there's Gigalith, Rhyperior, Aggron, and Aerodactyl. My favorite steel type is Steelix. I've for as long as I can remember, I have liked Steelix. It's always been one of my favorites, and because it's a big boy. It's a big boy. If you look at Serperior, if you look at Tyranitar, if you look at Farigiraf, you can see that I like the big boys. And Steelix is no different. It's got that jawline. It's got that jawline that if it does the Johnny Bravo drop to the floor, the decibels will knock everyone out. My least favorite steel type is probably Bastiodon. I feel nothing towards Bastiodon. It's just kind of ugly. He's just kind of ugly, to be honest. Definitely the weakest. Definitely the weakest of the fossil Pokemon for me. I just don't like it. The honorable mentions for the steel types, there's Metagross, Kingambit, Escavalier, Aegislash, and Klinklang. I couldn't tell you, honestly, I couldn't tell you why I like Klinklang. He's just kind of there. I don't know why, he just is. Lastly is the water type. My favorite water type, and my third favorite Pokemon, is Lantern. Now, Lantern, he's so cute. He's so cute, I love him. It needs an evolution though. Lantern needs an evolution. I love it, but it's a bit weak for my liking. My least favorite water type is Bruxish. It's kind of an expected pick. It was between Bruxish and Veluza, and Veluza actually looks somewhat cute. Have you seen his face? Seen his face? You seen this? How can you say no to that face? So that's why I went with Bruxish. And then the honorable mentions for the water type are Mudkip, Wishiwashi, Quagsire, and Dracovish. I think that's gonna be it for now. Thanks for 5 watch. Bye.